the vaccine don't work. People get it easily.
Yeah, you can still get it with vaccine. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know how to do it. I do it.
I'm like throwing up.
Both hospitals are cold.
You need me to read that over?
It is hot in here.
It is, I know.
That's right. Have we been a problem?
You're good so far.
Say the Spanish alphabet. A, B, C, D, Okay, which one are
Minus that little line, seven, y minus nine, that line equals three.
You got number two?
I don't know how to do all this absolute value stuff.
Okay, then yeah. Miss Wright,
Uh-huh.
do you divide this on the other side too? Number three, or just right here?
You want to, you want,
No, because we gotta get rid of this extra stuff, right?
yeah, is it,
Number
Okay.
three.
you would subtract it, because it's not being multiplied or divided by anything. It just has that 8 out in front, so you would just subtract it from both sides. If it didn't have that minus sign, then it would mean it was being multiplied, and then you would have divided.
What about the negative in front of that?
You'll bring it down, so that means you'll do all that work inside the bars, and then whatever you get, it makes it a negative.
But it's already in it, because it's
Well, absolute value can't already be a negative.
Just 3 months.
Well, hey, do it this way. This will be easier. Did you subtract the 8?
Yeah, I'm already done.
No, that didn't right. So this is what we need to do. Go ahead, after you subtract the 8, well, then you were good there. You didn't have to erase it all. So bring down the negative and then the, okay, so now do that, put your bars, so we haven't, no, that's not what the bar was. Now go ahead and get rid of the negative. So it's like a -1.
So like +1,
No,
just plus,
no,
add it to the 7.
no.
I don't know that.
Helper, what does it mean if a -1's right in front of the bars with no sign?
Did you multiply?
Mm-hmm. So divide both sides by -1.
That?
Uh-huh. So negative by negative is a positive, so you just got absolute value of 7y minus 9 equals 5. There you go. Now write your 2 equations. No, don't erase your, that's one of them. Keep going. That 8 out front, it's not being multiplied, so you're not gonna divide. It just says 8 minus, so you just need to get rid of it, so you're gonna subtract it to start with.
Okay, this one might.
So, just trying to, okay, we added 5, we got 4, negative 4 and a half. Right, and then you added 4K. When you added 4K on the second equation, 8K plus 4K, that'd be 12K.
That stands out so easy. Yes, it is.
That's right.
The 4/7 is right, but the other one is not.
This one?
Yeah?
What is it? How does it go?
Oh.
I know it's one of those.
That's not right either.
Ocho.
What did you do to get that?
4 divided by 7?
I got 2.3.
Oh, okay, whoa, okay. Hold on a second. So we're that 4/7 is right, but that's just one answer. You've got 2 answers.
I
So,
put or.
I know, but that's just a decimal equivalent of that one. Remember, you gotta write 2 equations when it's an absolute value problem.
Which one is that?
Okay, you got what, Summer?
I got 2.3 repeats.
I don't know how to do that. When you just.
I think that's right. I'm having a fractions done a moment in my head. Let me write it down and make sure. Yes, that's right. Now check on both.
Say, flip the four.
Do you want me to put 7 over 3?
Sorry, I did.
7/3 would be easier to check,
I didn't.
but that's up to
I
you.
ripped it up my head.
How would you check number 3? Like, how would you put that into the calculator?
Which one?
Number 3? How would you put it into the calculator?
The 4/7
Oh, yes.
alpha y equals enter, and it'll bring up a fraction bar.
How would you like put in the
Math and move it over to num, and it's the first one absolute value. We'll bring up those bars.
Hey.
How to put the absolute value bars. in the
Never
calculator.
mind. I don't freaking.
I don't know how to check this.
Yesterday I found out a new way to put fractions.
Look at it, I'll read it today. Alpha what?
Good, Austin.
Yeah, I got it.
I just realized what I did.
Huh? What? Absolute
Oh.
value bar. No.
8K
No.
minus 5, yes.
Oh, we're doing four, sorry.
Which one are you doing?
Why don't you do it right there?
Because there isn't any room.
check it if it's in the
I can reach it. I've been just all
I failed the quiz.
Yeah.
Wait, are you gonna tell us when we have another quiz?
Maybe. There was no new material on that one. There wasn't, I
Yeah.
mean,
I know. I just didn't tell them.
the stuff we've been doing. Maybe. No. I said no.
It is more sharp. No volume.
I don't know which one is your food. Both of them? You know how I don't know how to check these.
Well, you would have to plug them back in
Oh, yeah.
and see if it made it a true statement or
What
not.
am I checking?
Did you get 2.3?
This one, yeah, but I put it into fractions, it's easier.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, I don't think it's right.
This is like a whole train of and chat. This girl from Denton that I know, she got ISS because she posted this girl that was like, wearing her pink hair. Yes, she got ISS. Uh-huh.
This is like this one.
Hey, man. You know that? No, that's his, yeah, she's graduating. She's gonna get her
not be accredited?
If it's a false statement, it's not true, but both of the ones on number 3 work, so you must have typed something in wrong. Okay, y'all go ahead and, head back to your table and be cleaning up anything you need to clean up on your note page. I know Austin's checking one and that's fine, keep checking it, but then start moseying back. The, quiz yesterday, what I need you to know, on, the yesterday's quiz, there was no new material on that from middle school. Okay, properties, you did in middle school, you did in junior high, and we started the week off doing. Order of operations, you did in middle school, you did in junior high, we started the year off doing. Simplifying equations, you did in middle school, you did in junior high, you started the year off doing. So I haven't taught you any new math yet. So to see the majority of y'all bomb a quiz is not acceptable. Okay, when it's something new that we just don't understand, that's one thing, but when it's stuff you've been doing since middle school, y'all gotta be rocking and rolling on that kind of thing. This class, and y'all did better today, but this class is not gonna be a spectator sport. You're not gonna be able to sit back and watch somebody do all the work and then suddenly miraculously be able to do it on your own. You've got to put in the time and you've got to put in the effort. You're gonna learn it. You have to learn it. We're not failing, that's not an option. But you gotta work at it. It's not, like I said, you don't just sit back and then it just miraculously falls on you. You gotta put the work in, just like everything else in life, you gotta put the work in. So, these absolute value equations are not new, we reviewed them, and then you wouldn't believe how many times I heard on the quiz, what's an extraneous solution? And we did that the day before in class. We talked about that the day before in class. That word was new, remember I called it the big $20 math word for you? But we covered it the day before in class. So not a lot of excuses on that kind of stuff. But we discussed absolute value is the direct distance from 0 to number line. So anytime you have an absolute value equation, you gotta write 2 problems. So this first one, there's no extra junk, so I can just drop my bars and write everything exactly like it is. That's my first equation. And then to get my second equation, I drop the bars and make everything on the other side of the equal sign the opposite. So now we have two-step middle school equations to solve. So step 1, subtract 6 from both sides. If I do something that doesn't make sense, I want you to let me know. Now, we don't say this about why you need to know those properties, but I just used one of the properties. What's it called when you add or subtract something and it results in a 0? What property was that?
All the numbers.
That's not a property. What did you do when you added an opposite and it got 0? What property was that? The key word was opposite. Started with an I. It's not a property. Inverse property. So right here, subtracting 6 is the same as adding -6, isn't it? So we just use the additive inverse property to make that a 0. All those properties, you're like, well, when are we gonna learn properties? We learn them because we use them every day. So we know if you go to take a college algebra class somewhere and your teacher doesn't just say, move the 6 over, your teacher could say, use the additive inverse property. That's what you just did. Okay, so now we can drop our 4x down. 6 and 6 minus 6 is nothing. He gone. 26 minus 6 is 20. Okay, now I need to get the x all by itself. So what property is it when I can divide 4 by 4 and get a 1? Because that's what I just did right there. What's the name of that property? It's the same property, isn't it? Except multiplication is involved. multi,
So if
multi,
you addition, and multiplication of both numbers.
that, they're both, you have them, both of those for inverse, you have both of them for identity, you have both of them for commutative. Very good, Riley. Alright, so there's one of our answers. Let's plug the negative, solve the other ones, subtract the 6 from both sides again. So now I got negative 32. What do you get when you divide that by 4?
Negative.
Negative 8. So we got 2 answers to check now. Don't forget my negative. 2 answers to check. So let's plug our 5 in. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. Absolute value of 26 is 26. So the 5 is good. Negative 8. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. Negative 32 plus 6 is negative 26. Absolute value of negative 26 is 26. So both of them worked. There was not an extraneous. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I think both sides had that one right when I was looking. Did both groups get it right? Yeah, looks like both sides did. Okay, any questions on that one? If you don't see where I did something, you gotta ask me. I can't read your mind, and I'm not gonna smack you for asking me something, okay? We've got a few enough people in here, we ought to feel safe and free to ask something if we need to. Alright, I'm gonna erase. Everybody ready for me to erase?
Is this your smallest class?
I got this one, and the next period is full to the brim. Makes no sense at all. Why they didn't even y'all out. But they didn't. Alright, number 2. Remember the steps in solving an absolute value equation? We use the math term, isolate the absolute value. So we said in my words, that means get rid of the junk. So you got junk to get rid of on number 2. It's all being divided by 6. So we're gonna undo that by multiplying by 6, that's it. So I got the absolute value of negative 8 minus 5r is equal to 12. Okay, now we don't have any more extra junk, so we're ready to write our 2 problems. So I'm gonna move over here to the left so I've got some room. I'm gonna just drop the bars and write everything like it is. And then I'm gonna drop the bars and make everything on the other side the opposite. So you needed to have written those 2 equations, and it looks like we did, so we're on the right road. Now, a little different to solve this one. I need to get rid of a negative 8. So what am I gonna do to get rid of a negative 8?
Add
Add a kid, add 8 to itself.
in between.
And it's Buddy on the other side, so we got negative 5r to come down, and that's equal to 20. Then what?
And then you gotta divide by negative.
Yes, sir, divide by negative 5, and we got an r of negative 4.
And then you gotta do the other problem.
Yep,
Add the.
everybody ready to jump to the other one?
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so start the same way, add your 8 again. So this one gets us negative 5r is equal to negative 4. So we're gonna have a fraction or decimal this time. Divide by negative 5. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so we just get 4/5. Okay, y'all just got your sign mixed up over here on this side. Y'all see where that's, did y'all catch it?
Yes.
Okay. I got it over here. Alright, so I gotta check those 2 now, so I'm gonna take my negative 4 up here. I'm gonna do 5 times negative 4. This is, let me get all right over here, cause this one's gonna be tricky. Negative 8 minus 5 times negative 4 over 6. So negative 5 times negative 4 is 20, so negative 8 and 20 is 12. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So the negative 4 works. write down my 4/5. Okay, 4/5 times 5 is -4. -8 minus 4 is -12. Absolute value -12 is 12, divided by 6 is 2, so they did both work. Any easier yet than a couple of days ago? Feeling more comfortable with it yet? Why not?
I don't know. Just confusing me.
Alright, get fixed up what you need and we'll look at 3. I thought 3 was the trickiest. I think I talked to both groups about number 3. Or I was talking over here and they were listening over there, but that's good. I know I talked, Austin did it back there, I know I talked to him. Alright, we got, everybody still writing that? Everybody good? Alright, let me erase this and we will check out 3. Alright, so the mistake that happened first was we wanted to divide 8. 8 is extra junk and you do need to get rid of it, but you would only divide it if it's being multiplied. And it's not being multiplied, it's got this sign in front of it, or behind it actually. So I need to get rid of the 8, but how am I gonna do that? Subtract it. So now when that 8 minus 8's nothing, he gone, that minus sign is still out there. 3 minus 8 is -5. Now, if that minus sign were not out there, I could go ahead and write no solution. Because remember we said an absolute value can't equal a negative. But this minus sign out here is still extra junk. A minus sign out in front, that's like a -1 out in front. So -1 right next to those bars would mean times. So now you do get to divide. We're going to divide both sides by -1. The negatives on the left will cancel out. I'm going to jump up here above it. So I got absolute value of 7y minus 9 is equal to 5. Now you're ready to write your 2 equations. So 7y minus 9 equals 5, and 7y minus 9 equals -5. Scrounged that one on the right end, didn't I? I think we ought to add 9 to both sides. What do you think? Yeah? So I got 7y is 14, which means y is 2. What do you want? Hello. Hey. Yep. Mm-hmm. Up to the, does he, okay, no, you just turn left there and go up to the top of the hill and somebody gets off the top of the hill. Yeah, and turn around, there's 2 driveways and I just kind of back in that little circle into one of the driveways. Yeah. Alright. I was gonna drive a trip one, I thought we decided. Okay, yeah, let me drive a trip one. Do I go last? Okay. Okey-doke. Thanks, bye. Okay, so if y'all already finished, let me catch up over here, add your 9. So -5 plus 9 makes 4, and then when you divide by 7, you got 4/7. Alright, we gotta check those dudes now. So the 2 should be easy to check. So right here, 7 times 2 is 14. 14 minus 9 is 5, right? Absolute value of 5 is 5, so you've got 8 minus 5 equals 3. That's true. So the 2's good. Okay, let's check the 4/7 now. Let me write this all over here, cause gotta show a little more work on my fractions sometimes. 7 times 4/7 is just 4. 4 minus 9 is -5. Absolute value of -5 is 5, so 8 minus 5 is 3. So they're both good.
It's just so hot in here.
The air finally kicked on.
It's cold. I forgot my hoodie today.
Alrighty, we ready for the last one? Let's do a writing on that.
Should I have to take the quiz today?
Well, you can start on it if we have time when we get done. But you might have to come in during lunch sometime and work on it.
Today?
Oh, not, no, can't have to today, but you're gonna have to at some point. Alright, do we have extra junk on the last one?
No.
Nope, so just drop the bars, write everything like it is, that's your first equation. I'm gonna move it over here underneath number 3, so I got room. Okay, now the only thing tricky about this one is for our second equation, there's 2 things on the right side that we gotta make the opposite. So 8, good job, 8k minus 5, make your 4k a negative. And my 23 is a negative already, so I change it to a positive. Okay, so now on the left equation, you've got 4 terms. You can start with any 4 of them. So I'm going to add 4k, because that's what they did over here. Is that what y'all did too? Oh, y'all made a mistake on that one.
Can we do the plus 5 first?
You can.
Which one would you do?
I would do the, subtract.
Okay.
You,
We did minus 4.
it is, okay, I was looking at their second equation where they, so it is to subtract 4k. I said it backwards because I was looking at their second equation. I'm sorry. You were right, Kinley. And you could add the 5 if you wanted to, too. Alright, so 4k minus 5 equals negative 23. Now they're adding the 5. So I got, we'll jump up here, 4k equals negative 18. One's on that line, it's hard to see. Divided by 4. And I'm gonna leave that as an improper fraction, just be negative 9/2, which is negative 4.5, which is what y'all wrote. So y'all did good, right? Okay, now on the second one, that's the one I was looking at where they added 4k because my 4k is negative this time. So I'm gonna add the 4k. What's the matter?
No,
You got the negative 4.5.
no, never mind. I did it a different way than what we had on the board, and I was just looking and it confused me. But I'm good now.
I don't know that you did your second one right though.
I did-
Yeah, you didn't go back to the 4-termer, so you didn't do this step. Alright, let me add my 4k, I get caught up. So 12k minus 5 is equal to 23. Maybe you still did okay, I think so. It's crazy when that
I'm
happens.
doing it the
Yeah.
way on the board. Or that's
Okay.
the way I did it.
So I got 12k equals 28. Okay, now I'm gonna bring this up here, divide by 12. 28 over 12, take a 4 out is 7/3.
Or it could be 2.33
Yes.
repeating.
And the 2.3 repeating is good, but that's hard to plug back in and check, cause you can't type 3 forever.
True.
So that's why I was telling Summer that the 7/3 would be easier to check. Okay, so we got 2 fractions to check now. So let's do absolute value of 8 times -9/2 minus 5, and I need that to equal to 4 times -9/2 minus 23. I'm gonna put my minus 23 up there on the top. Okay, 8 times 9 is 72. 72 divided by 2 is 36. So I got -36 on this piece, and the absolute value of -36 is 36. So 36 minus 5 is 31. So on the left side, I'm looking at 31 equals -18 minus 23. -18 minus 23 is -41. So does -31 equal -41? Nope, so that was -9/2, so -9/2 is extraneous, don't circle it.
Oh crap, wait,
Tell me if I messed up.
which one are we doing?
Hey, Coach, how'd you get 31 on the first one?
I was checking
Cause I
-9/2.
just put that in, I got 41.
Okay, hold on, I might have messed up.
I
8
just put-
times -9/2. That minus, whoa, okay, I see where I messed up, thank you, Austin. That -5 should have been in the bar. Right there, I didn't do that in the bar. So that's gonna change my answer, Austin caught me, thank you, Austin.
No problem.
Okay, so that did all get me 41. But I still got -41 on the other side, and Austin's gonna check and make sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I still got -41 on the other side, so 41 still isn't the same as -41, right? So even though I messed up, I lucked out, so that's still extraneous.
Where did your 9/2 come from? I don't have that on my paper.
4K equals -18. So when we solve the one on the left. So that's the same, -4.5 is the same as -9/2. I just wrote the fraction and you wrote the decimal.
That's right, I have a question.
Yes.
So, it's not really related to this, but, would a repeating decimal be irrational and irrational?
A repeating is rational. But if it goes forever with just random numbers, that's when it's irrational.
What about like just a regular decimal? Would that be?
That just stops somewhere, that's rational. Alright, we gotta check our, where's my other answer? 7/3, right? We got 7/3 to check. Is it okay if I erase some of this, cause this is starting to look like Chinese? Everybody good, everybody caught up? Alright, I'm gonna, 7/3, don't erase that, that's what I'm checking. Alright, let's plug that 7/3 in. Absolute value of 8 times 7/3, and the -5 stays in the bars. It's equal to 4 times 7/3, and again, I didn't say room, minus 23. So that is 56/3. 7, 8, 18 2/3. Minus 5 would be 13 2/3. Austin, did you get 13.6 repeating?
I did mine like that, and I got 41/3.
That's good. Let me write it that way, the way you wrote it. 41/3. Okay, then over here, 28/3 for your 4 times 3/7 is 28/3. So Austin, what's 28/3 minus 23?
-41/3.
So close again, different signs, still not the same. So neither one of those answers worked. So for number 4, you would have got to have written no solution. No solution. Alright, so here's where we are and where we're headed and what we're doing. That was just still all the stuff that we worked on Monday. Okay, that we spent all day Monday working on absolute value. So we spent all day again today working on absolute value. Tomorrow, we're gonna go to inequality signs. That means they're gonna have greater than or less than signs. So we practice solving equations, that is an equal sign. So tomorrow, we're gonna practice solving inequalities, which you do most of it the same. There's just a little bit of difference, so hopefully we'll start picking up on it, getting a little bit better at it. We're gonna have another quiz early next week. So hopefully now we will start being better participators and not just spectators. You know, get some notes. When I tell you you can use notes, and it wasn't y'all in here, but I had some classes that nobody wrote a thing down.
First
They're like-
period.
They're like, notes? What? What do you think we've been doing all this time? So anyway, work on that. Good news about a bad quiz grade early is that there's gonna be lots of grades to follow. So you got lots of chances to bring it up. And remember, you got optional homeworks. There's not a new one for today, but there are still 6 homeworks back there that you can turn in anytime between now and our test, which will be the end of next week. End of next week. Probably Thursday, probably. Okey-doke. Alright, that'll be a wrap. I think we just got 7 minutes, cause we get out of here at 35 today.